Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going to tackle a question that I bet you thought about while staring at that blinking cursor. How are you actually supposed to talk to an AI? You know, a lot of us, it's almost instinct, right? We type please or thank you when we're talking to ChatGPT. It just feels, well, it feels right. But here's the thing, does it actually matter? Does it change the answer you get back at all? Well, it turns out that everything we thought we knew about being polite to technology might be completely wrong. And this isn't just about good manners either. It's about getting better results. Okay, let's get into it. All right. So for a long, long time, one of the biggest goals in artificial intelligence was pretty simple: make machines more like us, more human. And a huge piece of that puzzle was teaching them to have some manners, to be polite. And this is not some newfangled idea. Researchers have been chipping away at this for ages. It's actually called computational politeness. The whole idea is to basically code the super complex, unwritten rules of social etiquette right into the machines. So talking to them feels a little less, well, rabbi. And the challenge here really breaks down into two big parts. First, you've got to teach the AI to even recognize politeness. Like, it needs to know the difference between a soft, "Hey, would you mind helping me out?" and a sharp, "Help me now." And then the second part is teaching it how to create its own polite responses, to talk back in a way that's respectful and, socially normal. And look, the thinking behind all of this made total sense. I mean, a polite AI is a better AI, right? It makes you trust it more, it makes the whole experience feel better, and it just makes the tech feel less intimidating. That was the rulebook everyone was following, until very recently. Which brings us to a new study that basically took this whole idea, this decades-old assumption, and put it to the test with the big guns, today's most powerful AIs. And the results? Whoa. They pretty much flipped everything we thought we knew on its head. So here's what they did. The researchers grabbed 50 pretty tough multiple-choice questions. We're talking math, history, science, the whole deal. Then they rewrote each question 5 different ways, each with a totally different tone, and gave them all to ChatGPT 4.0. The goal was simple: find out which tone of voice got the AI to answer most accurately. And these prompts were all over the map. They went from super respectful, "Would you be so kind as to," all the way to just straight up insults like, "You poor creature." So what do you think? Take a guess. Which one worked best? Okay, so the results were not at all what anyone would have guessed. In fact, they were the complete opposite. The super polite prompts, they actually did the worst, getting around 81% right. And the really rude ones? Yep, they came out on top with almost 85% accuracy. So get this, the ruder the prompt, the better the AI's answer. It's a straight line. As the tone got meaner, the accuracy went up. I mean, that's completely backwards from what you'd think, right? It leaves us with one giant question. Why on earth is this happening? This totally bizarre finding really opens up a whole new can of worms, doesn't it? It forces us to rethink how these big AI models actually think, and maybe more importantly, how we're supposed to talk to them. Now, your first guess might be, okay, maybe the AI gets intimidated and tries harder when you're mean to it. But no, that's not it. It can't be. These things don't have feelings. They don't have an ego to bruise. The real reason has absolutely nothing to do with emotion. So the top theories right now suggest it's all about one thing: clarity. For starters, the AI has learned from billions of text examples that direct, even blunt, language often shows up in serious, high-stakes contexts where a precise answer is critical. Then there's the fact that rude prompts are just simpler. They've what's called lower perplexity, which is just a fancy way of saying they're less confusing for the machine to process. And finally, think about it. All those polite phrases, please, would you mind, they just add fluff. A rude prompt gets right to the chase. Okay, so this brings us to the million-dollar question, right? After seeing all this, should you just start being mean to your AI? Should we all drop the pleases and thank yous just to get better answers? Well, the actual researchers who did this study are super clear about this. Their answer is a big, fat no. They're basically saying, hey, just because we found this interesting quirk in a lab doesn't mean you should go around insulting your AI in real life. So what's the actual takeaway here for you? First, just realize that these AIs are kind of weird. They have these strange sensitivities to how you word things. Second, and this is the big one, the real lesson isn't be rude, it's be direct. The rudeness in the experiment was just a byproduct of being super clear and getting straight to the point.
And finally, we gotta remember the human element. The way we talk to machines can bleed into how we talk to people. And getting into the habit of being rude, even to a robot, is probably not a great idea for any one of us.
You know, we started this whole thing by asking if you should be nice to your AI, but it seems like polite versus impolite is maybe the wrong way to even think about it. It's not about manners, it's about precision. And that really leaves us with a final, pretty deep question to chew on. If making our AI smarter means we have to talk to it in a less human way, what does that say about the kind of intelligence we're actually building here? It's definitely something to think about as these tools get more and more woven into the fabric of our lives.